Okay. Here is this tutorial. I will be installing Bosco-R. That's a GridR modification that's using Bosco's backend to submit jobs. And I will run a simple example running a Monte Carlo job. The first thing is to install Bosco. And I already started the installation to get things started. So I went to the download page, click on the download, enter the name, email institution, and then I copied the URL and I downloaded it to a temporary directory. So to get things started, I did already the wget, and I started unpacked, and I started the quick start. The quick start asked me if I wanted to install Bosco, and then asked me information about the class that I wanted to add. I'm adding the cluster Midway. That's a shared resource here at UChicago, where my account is MMB, and this cluster is actually a Slurm cluster, but I'm using PBS. Bosco is seeing a Slurm cluster through the PBS simulation. So, so Bosco next has been installing the cluster and setting it up and testing it. So the next step after the Bosco installation, it's the download of R. In order to do that, you can go to our website. In this case, I have a Mac, so I went here and I downloaded and installed already 301. And the next step is to download and install the modified version of GridR. So GridR, keep in mind, is still a alpha software, so there might be changes soon. So this is the document where GridR, it's Bosco-R is described, and where is the download link for the modified version of GridR. I'm downloading and it's saving me to my download folder. And now I will install it in my R installation. Okay, now the modified GridR is installed, and I can finally go with the example. The example, it's a modified version, slightly modified, of a tutorial that was run during the UC3 Jamboree by Lincoln, where I'm using a software that's evaluating with the Monte Carlo method by. So it's very slow in converging, but here it's a description of the method. But it will make for this example. So, and what I'll be doing is making sure that Bosco is running. So you can restart many times Bosco. If it's already running, the operation will just do nothing. Then I'm starting R. And here there is the code that I'll be using. To increase the font size. Okay. Now I'm copying the definition of the function, the Monte Carlo pi. And I can run quickly a demo with, for example, 1,000 iteration. It's doing its own estimation, not so good at the moment. And the bigger is the number of iterations, the more it's accurate. But as I said, the convergence is very slow. So what I will be doing now, it's to run it using Bosco-R. So I load the library, put it out, and I initialize the library. Initialization is basically telling Gridar to use Bosco. And it's setting up a temporary directory where some temporary file produced by R will be saved. Now, the apply function is the one that is used to execute a job on the using Bosco. And this it's storing in a variable that's named as the first parameter the result of the function that's executed remotely. So what Bosco-R will do under the hood will be to send job with the R binary to the remote node and run the function and return the result and store it in the variable. So what I want to do now is to do multiple iteration of the job, and I will be storing them in a variable, in different variables. So what I can do here, it's I'll be plugging in the cluster just to double check how busy it is. So currently there are, okay, overall job. So let's do simplification. I've reduced the number of jobs that I will be submitting in order to make the tutorial faster and easier. And then I'll be actually simplifying even here a little bit, reducing the number of iterations to make it complete a little bit faster. So what I'm doing here is a loop where each time I run one instance of the function using Bosco, and I send the result to a different variable. So what it's doing now will be R will be submitting 30 different jobs and printing the starting Bosco job on the screen each time. If I go here to my terminal, I can see that the jobs are starting to be queued. And I can have convert queue first. With control Q dash grid, I can see where the jobs are running, and I can see that Bosco is sending them to the remote cluster. And now with this watch command, no, this is, sorry, it's not here, not on the Mac. So now I have all 30 jobs submitted. And if I go back to R, I can see that R returned. Within R, we can also see the status of the jobs. Again, returning here, I'm seeing some error. So I have still some jobs running, some returned an error. And there are probably the jobs on hold that run that. So in the meantime, I can show you what we will do next. I will check the result and then assign the result back to a vector. This initial loop and second loop is necessary because the apply function at the moment works with the scalar. That's it, only the whole job now. And here completed as well. Now we collect back the result in a vector. So I pre-assign the vector this way. The loop will be faster. The size that I use is 30. Again, I'm using this workaround to go from the scalar variables to the vector. And so here are the jobs that actually failed, that have not been assigned. So what I can do, I could have been initializing the variables to 0. And since I didn't do it at the beginning, I can do now and find basically factory also is being initialized. Run the loop one more time. Before the 6. So actually looking at the job, I can see which one did fail. Now it should work. Okay, now I have the result. And actually, I can use the not available value instead of 0. Now I can do the min of the value. And an histogram of the value. So the min doesn't work well with the
You do pass argument to ignore arrays.
so yeah. Setting an element to true. We'll ignore the not available value. Thank you, Chandra. And you know, also I can evaluate, for example, the error. And this concludes the demo. So I will be adding actually to the page the section to initialize the vector before